advice to any of you guys that are currently in your 20s, whatever point you're at, just live your life. Don't compare yourself. Don't miss out on opportunities because you were too scared to try or to be seen trying. I guess I've been one of those people for a long time. I've been somebody who just didn't want to turn on the camera because I didn't want people to see my life. I didn't want people to see the mess that my life had become. I didn't want to be held accountable for not keeping my word. If you're currently in your 20s, just allow yourself to be the imperfect version of you. Don't hide yourself away.
I've been gone for a very long time. This break was not really intentional. I basically fell into a kind of depression when I moved back to the UK from Germany. I've kind of spent very long periods of time by myself. I've become very scared of people, very scared of social situations, and I've almost kind of hidden myself away for the past year. I went back to uni. I started my course again. It didn't really go exactly to plan, and I think it was just like one thing after another that kind of just went wrong in my life. I almost think that I need this platform to be able to keep me doing things that I enjoy, because I feel like since stopping YouTube and since stopping content altogether, I've kind of felt like there's like something missing from my life. I think it's having a place and a platform to just be able to express myself, just to be able to talk unapologetically about whatever I want to talk about, because this is my platform. I think last year I felt like YouTube was becoming a bit of like a chore, something that I wasn't really enjoying. I've taken a bit of a step back in the time that I've been away, and I've realized that actually I want to do content that helps other people, even if it doesn't get any views. I want to do content that helps or inspires people. Obviously, I'm not really in the best place right now. I'm still working on myself. There's still so much that I'm trying to work through right now, and I have a lot of struggles, but I still think that me sharing my journey, me being transparent, is already a step in the right direction. I think it's like a healing for myself. My intention with today's video is not just to give you guys an update. I kind of wanted to also talk about navigating your 20s and how I've been kind of navigating my life throughout my early 20s. I think I've been very much subconscious of the fact that I'm getting to 25 now, and very much trying to hide the fact that I'm about to hit 25, because I feel like I'm not where I want to be, and I feel like I've messed up so many things. But at the end of the day, I think there's no like right way of living life. I don't think there's no way that we have to do our 20s. I kind of just want to touch on how I am currently trying to live my 20s, the things that have changed, the things I'm doing better, habits I picked up, and just kind of encourage people who are struggling right now throughout their 20s. I left my channel because my life wasn't going right. Like, I felt like everything was just a mess. I felt like I couldn't really come on camera because I didn't really know what to say, or I didn't feel like I ever had the right words. I'd moved back to the UK for a new start, for a way forward to improve my life, and I just felt like I completely messed up again. I felt like I just didn't have anything anymore. I fell into a deep depression when I moved back to the UK in September of last year. I think the depression got even worse. I didn't ever feel like I wanted to film. I didn't feel like there was anything to say or anything that would make my situation better. In this video, I just kind of want to share my 20s so far. You know, there's been highs and lows. I don't want to say it's all been negative. There's definitely been great times, and I think I've learned a lot of lessons. When I first hit 20, like between 19 and 20, I had left college a year before. I was kind of in this gap year stage where I wanted to travel, but then COVID didn't make it possible. Worked a little bit. I made new friends. After that, I kind of felt stuck. I kind of felt like I didn't want to just work constantly. I'd already been out of college for like 2 years, I think. So I was like around 20. I hit exactly 21 when my course started. I felt a little bit old, I think, at the time, because I think most people start uni around 18 or 19. So I was very kind of on the fence about it. I basically moved out into my first apartment in London. I was 21 when I moved. I moved in October of 2020. My course was online, but I think I made the most out of it. I didn't have any friends. I made sure to go out regularly. That was the kind of perfect environment for me to become depressed, but I wasn't. I was so happy. I was always doing my content. I was so happy recording my videos. It was a thing I look forward to, like new content ideas, new video ideas. I actually did end up moving out the next year. Went back to my parents' house for like, I don't know, 6 months or something. Moving back in was hard because, you know, you have that freedom, and once you have that freedom, it's hard to kind of go back home. And I think I felt it after about 6 months. I was like, I can't do this no more. I have to kind of find a different way. I'd lost quite a few of my friendships actually at that point. I didn't have any friends at all. I was actually quite low mentally because of that. I think at the time I didn't really think it affected me, but I think it did. I think it made me want to just leave, to just start afresh, to just go somewhere where nobody knew me. That's why I made the decision to move to Germany. It seemed like the simplest place to move. Literally from one month to another I decided to move, and I was only like 21 at the time, which is very young to move to a new country. It wasn't the best experience. I kind of enjoyed it for the first 6 months, and after that I just realized that life was getting difficult. It was becoming hard to find my motivation. I wasn't really recording content as much as I was when I was in the UK. I isolated myself to an extent. I had friends and I did kind of go out with them regularly, but at the same time I isolated myself and I stopped myself from making new experiences. I spent a lot of time alone in my mind, and I didn't really allow myself to have new experiences or meet new people. I was just by myself, I guess. And I think sometimes you don't realize how bad that can be for you. I think after a while, if you isolate yourself so much, you will become mentally unstable, and that's exactly what happened to me. I think towards the end of my time in Berlin, I really struggled. I spent like my 22nd and my 23rd birthday in Germany, so I was there for about 2 years. I basically decided to move out of Germany because I just thought, this is not working, it's not where I want to be. I really thought that the solution was to move country again, and you would think I would have learned from the last time that moving country is not the solution. I think what I needed was therapy, and it's one thing I regret not doing when I was in Germany, because I was just avoiding having to go through all the built-up trauma over the years. I basically never actually made the step to get therapy when I was in Germany. So I think when I came back, everything just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. It was just too much. I think it just pushed me into such a deep, dark hole that I just didn't know how to get back out of. I'm one of those people who doesn't like to ask for help. I always like to do things by myself. When I moved back to the UK, I was back at my family house. By that point, I had already developed OCD. It happened towards the end of my time in Berlin. I think it was because I spent a lot of time alone. I didn't even realize it until I started interacting with my family again and interacting with people that I knew who had known me before I moved, and they kind of said to me, who have you become? Like, they just didn't really recognize my habits. I was just like constantly trying to clean things, constantly trying to make sure that everything was clean. I just couldn't bear the thought of myself being dirty and come into contact with germs. It's definitely something that has really controlled my life for the past year. I think it's even been over a year now that I've just been so triggered by anything that is dirty or not organized or just all over the place. I think OCD has a lot of different components that even I haven't really explored properly, but I do know that I have a lot of the symptoms. My mind has become so destructive in a way. It just kind of makes me constantly second guess myself. I just constantly repeat these behaviors of cleaning things and making sure things are clean and not being able to use things until I've cleaned them. It sounds so silly, honestly, when I'm saying it, but it's really controlled my life. The first time when I decided to drop out of uni at 21, I kind of said to myself, this is not for me. I don't want to study business again. I don't want to do online uni. It's just not my kind of thing. I just felt like everybody was expecting me to go back to uni. Like, that was like the path that I should take. And like, this was the best path to success. And I just felt so unconfident in myself and my own ability to make decisions that I kind of let other people decide for me. Sometimes people can obviously make like a judgment based on, what they see. But at the same time, I think when you know something is really not for you, and when you know that that's not the path you want to take, it's like, that you don't need to have somebody else tell you this is what you should do when you know it's not for you. And I should have known back when I was making that application to go back to uni, this wasn't the thing I wanted to do, and that there was so many other paths to success. I moved to London and I didn't meet anybody. I didn't have any friends. I was just alone for a very, very long period of time. And obviously I did go back to my family regularly, but it just wasn't the same, because every time I came back to London, I knew it was just an empty room waiting for me, and I had nobody I could even turn to. To any of you guys who are currently about to make a decision that is as big as going back to uni or moving to another country, make that decision for yourself. Don't make that decision for other people. You're the one who's going to have to live with the decision. Like, you're going to have to live with the effect of your own decision, not the people that made you make that choice. You're the one who's going to have to deal with if it doesn't go right and if it's not what you wanted to do. If you can already tell before you make that decision that this is not something you want for your life, then why go ahead with it? I feel like this past year could have been spent so differently. Having this time away from London has kind of made me realize a lot of things, and made me realize that I don't think I I'm doing the right thing. I don't think I am meant to be at uni right now. It's just not what I want to do. And if I do want to be able to continue my course and be able to still be happy at the same time, I have to continue filming. I have to continue my content, and I have to find hobbies that keep me busy. When I first moved to London, I was basically like coming home and crying every day. Like I was basically in tears every day. I just kind of felt like I don't even want to live this life anymore. For me to just kind of come home and just cry like that just shows how depressed I was. These feelings of sadness have just completely taken over my life, and I think I still kind of get to points and I've just cried and I don't even really know why, or I've just gotten triggered by something so small and I just thought, oh, my life is over. Navigating your 20s, especially your early 20s, is not easy. You have to give yourself grace. You have to kind of say to yourself, it's okay to fail. Failing is literally a part of life. I feel like the more you fail, the closer you come to success. It's such a normal part of life to just fail and just try again and again until you succeed. Because like, imagine when you're like younger and you're learning how to walk or you're learning how to ride a bike, you don't just get it straight away. You don't just get it like that. It takes time of trying again and again and again until you can kind of be like, okay, I got this. The social media will make you feel like you're 10 steps behind everybody else. You only see people's highlights. You don't see when they're struggling. You don't see how they got there. You don't see what money they grew up with. Why would you compare yourself to somebody who you don't know? I just wanted to give you guys like a little bit of advice on how you can kind of navigate your 20s, even if everything hasn't really gone well. I have learned a lot of things along the way, and I have met a lot of different people, and you know, there's still a lot of people there in my life who I really appreciate. I wouldn't have made a lot of my friends without moving countries that I wouldn't have ever met them. I moved somewhere new, I experienced a new culture. I'm genuinely grateful to the younger me for just giving it a try, even though it wasn't like the most common thing to do at the time. Like, people do not really move countries at 21, so I'm proud of myself for doing that. Over the past few months, I have been implementing new habits. I think they haven't been very dramatic and they haven't been crazy. I have pushed myself out of my comfort zone. I have made sure that I've gone out on walks, that I've got my steps in. I've tried to push myself when it comes to, you know, speaking to new people, even if it's just in a store. Even though these things are so small, it was pushing me out of my comfort zone, and it was making me feel more and more comfortable outside in spaces that were quite full and busy. London is the kind of place where there's always a lot going on. There's always going to be people, and I found it very, very difficult at one point to just be. Like, I avoided going to university whenever I could. I made sure that I wasn't in very crowded spaces. It's such a normal thing to be around a lot of people, but when you avoid these kind of situations so much, I feel like it becomes like harder and harder. I feel like it's still quite overwhelming for me to be amongst like too many people at one time. This is what I say to people who are currently facing these struggles in their 20s. Get outside, put the phone down, get into nature, just go on a walk by yourself. Like, don't wait on people. Like, for the longest time, I was waiting for my friend to come along. I was waiting to find the friend that I needed to go out with, and the friend never came. And I, in a way, just kept on asking myself why. I was like asking God, like, why do I not have friends? Like, you don't have friends because you don't go out. You don't have friends because you're literally just in your room 24/7. We ask for so much, but we don't even try to just make a step in the right direction. Change is not easy. Trying to make friends is so hard when you're in your 20s, and I won't lie to you, it's incredibly hard. People are very difficult sometimes, and you're not always going to find your friend as quickly as you found them in primary school. Sometimes people just aren't the right people for you. I'm still trying to navigate this whole period in my life of finding friends. It's kind of taught me that I have to be comfortable with myself. I can't always wait for somebody, because sometimes that person is not going to come along. It becomes so easy to say, oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, or oh yeah, I'll go the next week. You constantly feel like you have to be ready, you have to be perfect before you can start, or you have to look like this, or your hair has to look like that. Just start, just do it. Don't wait, don't think about it, just do it. Because the more you think, the more you wait, that's where you end up doing nothing. And doing nothing is where you will start to feel mentally down. I feel so at peace now that I've kind of let a lot of this off my chest. I feel like I needed the time and the space. My advice to any of you guys that are currently in your 20s, whatever point you're at, just live your life. Don't think too much. Don't compare yourself. Don't miss out on opportunities because you were too scared to do things, or you were too scared to try or to be seen trying. I guess I've been one of those people for a long time. I've been somebody who just didn't want to turn on the camera because I didn't want people to see my life. I didn't want people to see the mess that my life had become. I knew that when I turned on that camera, I would have to share what was going on, and I didn't want people to know. I didn't want to share, and I didn't want to be held accountable for not keeping my word. If you're currently in your 20s, just allow yourself to be the imperfect version of you. Just show people who you are. Don't hide yourself away. Don't allow all these perfect images of perfect bodies to make you feel like your body is not okay. Live in your body. Your body is what keeps you alive. We spend so much time criticizing ourselves and criticizing how we look, when life is not about how our body looks or how it looks compared to somebody else, or whether we have a perfect flat stomach. It's about our experiences. It's about how we decide to live our life, and the people we meet, the things we see, and the moments that we have with other people. That's what it's about. My final note for this video is just live. Just live your life without regrets. Don't keep on second guessing yourself. If you have a gut feeling about something, just go with your gut feeling. I hope that going forward I can be more transparent on this channel and share my journey with you guys and show you guys kind of where I'm at in my life and what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. I'm definitely trying my hardest right now to film content and to be transparent and to kind of share where I'm at right now in my life and the real moments, you know, because not every moment is perfect and not every moment is happy. What I enjoy is creativity. What I enjoy is creating content, filming, and that's what I'm gonna try and do. Like, that's kind of my promise to myself now, to just do what makes me happy, to just continue with my passion projects. I really hope that you guys took something from this today, and yeah, hopefully you guys can subscribe and follow along with my imperfect journey. I'm so excited to see what is to come and to share the rest of my journey.